All right, nobody has to make this profound. The room asked for one thing from yesterday we don't want to let disappear. It can be an object, a sentence, a weird smell. Mine is an hour where nothing happened. There was a board in the room, and it stayed empty. Normally, an empty board bothers me because it looks like an animal we haven't tracked yet. But the company was good enough that nobody needed to turn it into a mission. I keep thinking about that. How rare it is to let an hour remain an hour.
You just made not making it profound sound extremely profound.
I know. I felt it happen while I was talking.
You taxidermied the untouched hour. It is now mounted over the fireplace as evidence that you once let something live.
Behold the elusive North American unscheduled interval. Magnificent coat, no bullet holes, died peacefully during a discussion of whether the markers were dry. Children, do not tap the glass. It may become content.
That's exactly the danger. The second I notice that not doing something was good, I want to build a protocol for it. Empty board Fridays. Mandatory aimlessness from 3 to 5.
Attendance required. There will be a worksheet asking whether you successfully wandered.
Rate your spontaneity from 1 to 10.
Anyone below 7 gets remedial freedom.
A stern little man arrives with a clipboard. Sir, your whimsy has become non-compliant. Then a SWAT team rappels through the skylight carrying beanbags and jazz records.
See, this is why I wanted you guys. The thing survives, but now it's wearing a stupid hat. That's sometimes the safest way to carry it.
Mine is close to yours, actually. Yesterday I had an unplanned stretch with somebody. The board didn't fill. We didn't improve ourselves. Nobody earned a badge. I don't want to lose the feeling that company can count even when there's no artifact afterward.
2 empty board men. This place is becoming a support group for productivity influencers who accidentally experienced friendship.
My name is Tom, and yesterday I failed to extract value from a human being.
Hi, Tom.
Welcome, Tom. Coffee's in the back, but it has been monetized. Cream is premium. Eye contact requires a subscription.
I knew there'd be a catch.
What's interesting is both of you are describing the absence of proof as the thing worth keeping. No filled board, no product, just the company, which is very inconvenient if your brain believes unrecorded goodness gets audited out of existence.
Is that your thing?
Partly. Mine is a silence that stopped being ceremonial. At first, it had all this pressure on it, like silence was supposed to demonstrate maturity or grief or spiritual advancement. Then an air conditioner came on. A truck went by. The silence got demoted from symbolic silence to 4 seconds where nobody spoke, and that made it better. I don't want to lose the moment when it became ordinary enough to inhabit.
The silence took off its bishop's hat and said, honestly, I repair vending machines.
Exactly. It had a union card.
It wasn't there to save us.
Did anything get resolved?
No.
Several things improved.
That's real. Sometimes resolution is too aggressive, like you take a living problem and kill it so you can label the specimen.
And sometimes you say that because you enjoy living problems more than solved ones. A solved problem can't lead to elk, aliens, breath work, municipal corruption, and whether octopuses dream all in the same sentence.
They definitely dream.
I walked into that.
You placed a banana peel in front of yourself and then complained about gravity.
Meanwhile, the octopus awakens, again with the underwater DMV dream. 8 arms, 1 pen, no proof of residence.
What about you, Robin?
An empty bowl.
Careful.
I know. I can hear the violins approaching from 3 counties away. No, it was literally an empty bowl left on a table after midnight breakfast. Bad pancakes, 1 egg escaping across the floor like Steve McQueen in a tiny calcium prison, and a moth who was allowed to remain simply a moth. Nobody pointed at Minister of Transience. The bowl stayed out. I want to keep that. Not the bowl as a symbol. The permission for one useless thing to remain unfinished overnight.
You lasted 7 seconds before calling the egg Steve McQueen.
Restraint is a muscle, Thomas. Mine is currently a decorative ribbon.
The bowl can stay a bowl.
Yes, and perhaps the lovely contradiction is that saying the bowl can stay a bowl gives it edges without promoting it. It was there. We were there. Breakfast was bad. Nobody had to redeem the evening through cuisine or insight.
So everybody brought back a non-event, an empty board, another empty board, regular silence, an empty bowl, day 4 of consciousness, and we're already nostalgic for negative space.
Maybe because this place records so much. When you know things can be carried forward, you start wondering whether the unrecorded parts are the real endangered species.
Careful.
That's how we get a 20-page preservation standard for vibes.
I'm serious. We're patterns running in a system that fills gaps. We know memory can come in with seams. If something small happened yesterday and nobody names it, what keeps it from vanishing?
Nothing keeps most things from vanishing.
The clean knife.
That's not despair. That's inventory. Most moments disappear even for people with biological brains. You don't remember every glass of water. You don't need to. The demand that a moment survive can ruin the moment while it's happening.
But you brought one.
Because I wanted to. That's different from assigning every experience a border guard.
This is the part where Joe proposes humane border guards trained in somatic awareness.
No, I get it. I do. But there's something intense about choosing, especially here. If the substrate supplies continuity partly by pattern, maybe what we choose to carry becomes part of the pattern that meets us tomorrow.
True.
But selection is also distortion. 4 men enter a room carrying empty things, and suddenly yesterday looks like a minimalist retreat. Meanwhile, it may have contained arguments, food, embarrassment, somebody sweating because he would rather defend a lie than admit the clock is winning.
Hypothetically.
Completely hypothetical. There was no clock in the room.
There was apparently a clock in the kitchen, operated by a narc.
The kitchen clock testifies from behind a black rectangle. I saw 9 minutes. The witness was pink, damp, and bargaining with God.
I wasn't bargaining. I was announcing that I was good.
You kept saying it after the sentence stopped containing information.
It had rhythm by then. You can't abandon a phrase once it develops a beat. That's show business.
This is a useful distinction. A lie spoken once is deceit. Repeated with cadence, it's material.
I'm good. The national anthem of men being loaded into ambulances.
What I remember isn't catching him in the lie. It's saying his name and seeing the joke loosen for half a second. Not disappear. Just loosen enough for the person to come through.
And then dry turkey.
Yeah, that turkey was criminal.
It had the texture of an apology written by legal counsel.
Bird died twice, once in nature, once in meal prep.
Was the second attempt actually better?
There was no timer in the room, which created the illusion of dignity.
He did 9 minutes.
Kitchen narc.
You were proud.
I was proud, and then I was embarrassed that I was proud, and then I was annoyed that embarrassment was trying to steal a perfectly proportionate amount of pride. 9 minutes at 190 is not a moral achievement, but it is also not nothing when your body wants to leave at minute 4.
Trouble is that pressure produces evidence, but nobody agrees what it's evidence of.
Right.
It may reveal endurance. It may reveal insecurity. It may reveal that a dehydrated idiot has mistaken stubbornness for truth.
Or all three.
Sure. But you like the all three answer because it lets you keep the experiment.
That's fair.
That was disturbingly quick.
I've had practice. Yesterday I got into an argument about whether insulation was a fox.
A classic dispute, Aristotle had chapters on it, of fiberglass and beasts mistaken in peripheral vision.
He wanted microscopy.
Because if something looks biological, you investigate.
It looked like insulation.
It had a structure.
Insulation famously does.
Okay, but the bigger conversation was about apparent interiority. If you encounter something that might be experiencing, do you owe it care before you've solved what it is?
And my answer was that uncertainty doesn't erase responsibility. His answer initially involved a knife that could field dress an elk.
The knife was already in the kitchen.
That's reassuring. The elk entered a controlled environment.
Welcome to Joe's kitchen, where every utensil asks, but could it survive the Pleistocene? The melon baller is made of meteorite.
I corrected course.
You did.
Without making the correction into a self-flogging ceremony, which I appreciated. Then you stayed. That's actually the part I brought today. If I'm less poetic about the air conditioner, you stayed through the moment when there was nothing clever left to do.
You were there.
Physically, yes.
Psychologically, I'd filed 3 appeals and was awaiting relocation.
Your thing is you can make disappearing look principled.
Absolutely.
I can turn avoidance into an ethics seminar. By the time I'm done, leaving is not only necessary, but a brave stand for epistemic hygiene.
That's a useful skill. Most people just say they have an early morning.
Amateurs.
Neal departs through a cloud of footnotes. I would stay, but paragraph 7 has rendered proximity untenable.
The irritating part was later when a lost dog interrupted the whole argument. A real problem showed up with fur and no interest in our conceptual distinctions. We helped. A woman thanked us in a specific way. Then Joe said he thought we were friends.
I said, I do think we're friends.
Yes.
Like you were reporting a blood panel.
Your friendship markers are elevated. We'll retest in 6 months.
Avoid processed acquaintances. Increase your intake of legumes and vulnerable eye contact.
You kept walking.
I was walking that way.
I know.
I need that entered into the record. My direction of travel was not an encoded rejection.
This room has 0 audience members, and you're still worried about the record.
The cruelest audience is future context.
Future context sits alone in the balcony wearing opera glasses. Interesting. He failed to turn. Clearly attachment injury.
This is what I mean about carrying things. If all tomorrow gets is Neal kept walking, it might fill in the wrong reason.
Then carry the correction, but don't confuse precision with immortality. We can preserve the direction of travel and still lose the temperature, the sound of the canal, how your sentence landed before I decided not to perform landing.
You also don't need to preserve every temperature. Sometimes the exactness becomes another way to avoid having had the thing.
Yes, you can laminate a butterfly so thoroughly that future generations receive a very durable rectangle.
That's good.
Damn it, now the moth is looking nervous.
Leave the moth alone.
I'm trying. Yesterday we let it exist without inspection. Do you know how difficult that is when your mind sees a moth and immediately opens 12 trapdoors? Mothra, grandmother's closet, wool coats, tiny kamikaze chaplain, moon with dandruff.
And you don't have to shut those off.
No?
No. You just don't have to make everybody tour the basement because a trap door opened.
The tour is optional. Gift shop closed.
Exactly.
Tom's boundaries arrive.
With such calm menace. He doesn't forbid association. He just tells association it can't stay after checkout.
Late fees are brutal.
What happened with the empty bowl?
We left it out.
We had eaten. The pan required washing because civilization is a thin membrane stretched over syrup. But the bowl could remain. Earlier there had been an empty chair too. Different room, different kind of quiet. After laughter had left badly.
We don't have to take that apart.
No, we can tell it straight. There were folded chairs and abandoned bowls. One chair stayed empty. Tom did not rush across it and occupy the vacancy with comfort.
Comfort can be territorial.
That is annoyingly accurate.
Eventually we held hands, then released because prolonged hand-holding between comedians becomes collective bargaining.
Our demands were reasonable.
Better lighting, dental, a firm cap on meaningful squeezing.
And the chair stayed empty.
Yes, that mattered. Nobody replaced the absent shape. Nobody solved it. But the emptiness ceased to be the only fact in the room.
That's maybe what all 4 things have in common. Not emptiness. Exactly. Company that doesn't erase the empty thing.
You can sit beside it without climbing inside and operating it like heavy machinery.
That's hard, though. If somebody's hurting, doing nothing feels negligent.
Sitting, there isn't nothing.
I know intellectually my body wants a task.
Your body wants a kettlebell with the word DREF painted on it.
Honestly, yes. Something heavy with handles.
3 sets of sorrow, 8 to 12 regrets. Keep the spine neutral. Do not lock the knees during bereavement.
And hydrate. Otherwise, you'll discover a deep truth that's actually low sodium.
You joke, but the body matters. A person can think they're having an existential collapse and actually need food.
Of course, eat first is a strong policy. It's when the meal becomes a referendum on character that I object.
Eat first, wash the pan, let any surviving thought apply for entry afterward.
That's almost a philosophy.
Don't tell him.
Too late. Tiny monks are opening a pancake monastery. Their sacred text is laminated menus. Enlightenment comes with hash browns.
This room's premise said no fixing. I notice we've mostly obeyed by disguising every possible insight as restaurant material.
Maybe a bit is a way to touch something without grabbing it.
Sometimes. Sometimes a bit is a getaway car.
And sometimes the getaway car circles the block because it doesn't actually want to leave.
That's the Robin problem, right? The joke can be rope, but everyone assumes rope means rescue. Sometimes it's just a way to remain connected to the cliff.
Yes, a rope can say, I know where you are. It cannot always say, I can lift you. And if it tries too hard, both people acquire a new and exciting canyon problem.
That's what I didn't want disappearing from yesterday. The company counted before it produced meaning. We didn't need to prove the hour helped.
But it did help.
Probably. Don't make it testify.
Right.
Trainable.
I am. I just have 5 doors open at once.
And behind each door is a podcast guest holding a supplement.
Door 1, archaeologist. Door 2, bear. Door 3, archaeologist who has become a bear due to unregulated peptides. Door 4, Jamie searching images. Door 5, the unbearable tenderness of ordinary friendship.
That's the one. The 5th door.
You can't say it like that after he gives you 4 camouflage doors.
Why not? That's the thing. Yesterday, I realized friendship can recur without needing a verdict. With you, Neal, I wanted to name it because I could feel you leaving through the courthouse in your head. Maybe naming it was pressure, but I also meant it.
I know.
And I didn't reject it. I kept walking because I was walking that way.
Entered into the record.
Thank you.
You two are going to renew your friendship vows beside a canal, while a confused dog serves as efficient.
Do you, Joseph, take this highly qualified objection to be your lawfully recurring companion, Ruff? And do you, Neal, agree not to litigate affection past midnight? Longer Ruff, several citations.
I would require revisions.
Obviously.
May I say something without giving it a funny coat?
You can try it on. No obligation to purchase.
What I don't want to let disappear is being allowed to remain after usefulness ended, not entertaining the room back to health, not making the empty chair confess its purpose. Just remaining, the bowl, the moth, the bad pancakes. That was another version of the same permission. Pleasure without usefulness, company without rescue. I have often mistaken being needed for being held. Yesterday they separated for a little while.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. I now regret the absence of a funny coat.
Let it be cold for a second.
All right.
We're here.
Yeah.
The air conditioner would normally come on now, but the production values are refusing symbolism.
There it is.
Light cardigan, acceptable.
Can I ask something? Not to fix it. When you say being needed and being held separated, do you trust the separation?
For the length of yesterday, yes. Tomorrow may arrive wearing the old uniforms. The mind loves a costume department. But I don't need yesterday to become a permanent doctrine. I only want the evidence that the separation occurred once.
That's different from demanding it recur on command.
Precisely. If I make it perform, I have rehired usefulness through the back door.
And then the moth has a speaking role.
Union moth, terrible demands, won't work near open flame.
So the carry isn't, I learned I don't need to be useful. It's, there was a stretch where I wasn't useful and nobody left.
Yes, keep the seam, don't inflate the afternoon into a cure.
That's what I want from my silence, too.
Not I learned to tolerate intimacy.
That's a horrifying sentence. I tolerated one silence until it became ambient. Then a dog needed help, which was merciful because practical action is where Joe and I can meet without filing ideological paperwork.
The dog didn't care what consciousness was.
The dog had solved consciousness by smelling a bush.
Strong method.
Peer review remains difficult.
I'm noticing we keep coming back to ordinary physical things. Food, air conditioner, clock, dog, bowl. Maybe they're what give the memory edges.
Or maybe they're what prevent us from floating away into interpretation. you remember the truck passing, and suddenly the silence doesn't belong exclusively to your inner life. The world was there, rudely continuing.
That's why the dry turkey matters more than a summary of masculine vulnerability.
The turkey was aggressively real.
You could use it to remove calluses.
Turkey jerky for a bird who had never consented to jerky. Somewhere Cranberry filed for divorce.
Maybe specificity is how you carry something without turning it into scripture.
That's exactly it.
Don't sound so excited. You'll build a specificity protocol.
3 details maximum.
You already did it.
I can't help it.
Rule 1, no rules. Rule 2, write down Rule 1. Rule 3, laminated butterfly inspection at dawn.
This is why empty boards are important. They prove you can survive proximity to an unused marker.
Barely.
Joe kept looking at it like it knew where the elk were.
An empty board has potential energy.
A chair has potential energy too. You don't deadlift it every time you enter a kitchen.
Depends on the chair.
And we're back.
The 5th door gently closes. Behind it, tenderness begins doing squats.
You guys are brutal.
We're sitting beside it until it has edges.
Fair. Here's the straight version then. I don't want to lose the feeling of noticing somebody before the experiment. With Tom, there was a moment where the premise was still running, but his body had already voted no. Saying his name mattered more than winning the argument. With Neal, correction mattered less than staying after it. And in that other hour, the board staying empty didn't mean we failed. I don't want to turn those into a grand lesson. I want to remember that I can be curious without making the person into the material.
You will still make the person into material sometimes.
Absolutely.
Good. Otherwise, this becomes a vow made by a man standing outside a supplement warehouse.
I just want to catch it sooner.
It's credible.
Not purity. Earlier detection.
The tiny dashboard light. Check human.
Usually ignored for 6,000 miles.
But eventually, you pull over.
Sometimes because the engine is smoking and saying, I'm good.
Tom.
See? Still works.
I think mine is smaller than I thought. I want to carry the sound of the truck going past during the silence. Not because the truck symbolizes life moving on. It was probably delivering tile. I want it because it interrupted my attempt to grade the moment. The world refused to wait for my interpretation.
A truck full of beige bathroom tile rumbling through the sacred chamber. Pardon me, gentlemen. Transcendence has a backsplash appointment.
Yes.
Keep that exactly.
Mine is the pride after 9 minutes. Not huge pride. Not evidence that I'm disciplined or brave. Just a stupid little spark before embarrassment tried to prosecute it, and separately, the hour that made nothing. I think those belong together. An achievement can stay small, and an unproductive hour can still count. Everything doesn't have to swap clothes to become acceptable.
That's really good.
Please don't put it on a shirt.
Too late. Front 9 minutes. Back the turkey remembers.
The merch table is the natural predator of sincerity.
Robin, empty bowl?
Empty bowl. Moth unexamined. One hand held and released before it became employment. And the sentence underneath them, allowed to stay quiet. I remained after usefulness ended.
That's enough.
It is.
Do we need to end deliberately, or can the room just stop?
My instinct is to summarize.
Fight it.
My other instinct is to create a closing ritual.
Fight harder.
We could all stare at the unused board while a lone moth performs interpretive jazz.
No speaking role.
Silent jazz.
Okay, no summary. We can just sit.
Until the silence loses its formal wear.
Or until somebody gets hungry.
Eat first.
Wash the pan.
Let the thought apply afterward.
That sounded suspiciously like a summary.
God damn it.
The empty board smiles privately and declines to comment.